Just like with flame detection, unless I specifically tell the computer that the internal volume of a vessel needs to be excluded from the assessment by coming up here and saying exclude from gas assessment, the computer does not necessarily know that that's the internal volume of a vessel. And so if I don't exclude those volumes, it will assess that space normally for the gas assessment. This is not normally as bad for flammable gas as it is for flame, because since we don't need line of sight, the computer will assess that volume just like it would the rest of the space in the graded area. And if it's close enough to a detector for volumetric detection purposes, it will get marked as coverage or as having coverage. So oftentimes if we forget vessels and if they aren't too huge, or if they're not so big that we can't put detectors inside and so we get a large area with no coverage, a lot of times we'll see these smaller vessels just kind of average out and they're not going to change the result much. However, there are times when it can be a big problem, especially when we have very large vessels or enclosures within a larger graded area. So if I just add my internal volume exclusions that I've already set up previously and rerun the assessment, and it's going to fuss at me if I forget to turn on my 3D model. Good computer. But now that I've turned that on, I can see that the internal volume of my vessels have been excluded. And I can see that again, it basically averaged out. In the case of flammable gas, it does not always make a major difference in coverage if I forget to exclude the internal volumes, but it's still just good practice to exclude it and get a more accurate representation of your coverage. And sometimes it can make a big difference.